were the president, I would dig in and not give in on additional wall funding. I'd want the whole $5 billion because the caravan is a game changer. 1.6 is available to the president. He wants 5. And after the caravan, if you don't see the need for additional border security, you're just not paying much attention. So Mr. President, dig in, do not give in when it comes to the wall.
Got it. Lindsey Graham, there is some advice for President Trump. The president meeting tomorrow with Democratic leaders over funding for the wall with Mexico. A government shutdown deadline about 2 weeks away. Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise addresses all that in a matter of moments. First, though, on the southern border, these images showing the desperation of migrants. An 8-month-old boy being shown trying to be pushed through the wall. Steve Harrigan is live in Tijuana, Mexico with more from there today. Steve, good morning.
Bill, these pictures are touching people's hearts, and there's been a tremendous amount of effort on both sides of the border to try and ease some of that desperation. A flood of donations has come from across the border in San Diego. Food, tents, trying to help the people here in the shelters, but organizers say there is still a great need for more assistance.
There's a big need for underwear because there are no washing machines here, so we were giving away underwear and socks. And then today we are focusing on the infants and the women that are pregnant at the camp.
Conditions at the camp are still tough, but they are getting a little bit better. They've issued ID cards, and they're really trying to keep order. Unrest near the border doesn't serve either country's interest. It's a real economic hit to both sides. As far as the numbers of the migrants go, they keep dropping steadily, down from 6,000 to about 2,000. And while some of the Central Americans have gone home, some have crossed illegally, a lot are staying right here in Tijuana. They are finding jobs in the giant factories here, those jobs that pay about $10 a day. Bill, back to you.
Steve Harrigan live there from Tijuana. Thank you, sir. 34 past, Sandra.
All right, so now for more on the border wall and the funding battle happening there, let's bring in House Majority Whip and Louisiana Republican Congressman Steve Scalise. Congressman, it's always great to have you.
Morning, Sandra. Good to be with you.
Especially on set this morning, since this is such a huge week and the countdown is on to fund the government by the end of the year. Where does this battle go next? The president's making it very clear the number's $5 billion. Democrats do not look like they are willing to go anywhere near there. They are rejecting that. What happens?
Well, what we have is a difference of understanding about what's happening at the border. You know, the president has been very clear from when he ran for office that he wants to protect America's border and keep this country safe. And now more than ever, when you see the caravan, I know what Lindsey Graham was talking about, you've got thousands of people literally saying we're just going to storm your border and come into the country. And oh, by the way, we have at least 600 known convicted criminals as part of this caravan. These aren't people seeking asylum, by the way, Sandra. They were offered asylum and jobs in Mexico and turned it down. So let's not talk about asylum. It's whether or not we're going to have rule of law in the country. And by the way, we let 1 million people a year into our country legally. There's a legal process. There are thousands of people waiting to come to this country the right way. Follow the rules. And the president said, if you want to seek asylum, there's a way to do it. That's not what this is about. The border funding is going to be the big battle in these next 11 days. And the president's negotiating with the Senate right now, House and Senate, Republican and Democrat. The president's laid out very clearly. He wants $5 billion. And it's not just to build the wall. Clearly, that's a big part of it. But it's for all the other technology and supporting things that our Border Patrol agents need. They're attacking, by the way, our Border Patrol agents, some of these people in this caravan, literally attacking Border Patrol agents. We ought to give them the tools to be safe as they protect our border.
How far do you want the president to go here? You just saw Lindsey Graham saying, you know, dig in, don't give in. He says put DACA on the table, put that on the negotiating table. Nancy Pelosi has already addressed that concept by saying this.
Would you be willing to support some degree of wall funding if you got a permanent, bona fide solution on DACA?
No.
Why not?
Well, because they're two different subjects. Most of us, speaking for myself, consider the wall immoral, ineffective, inexpensive, and the president said he promised it. He also promised Mexico would pay for it.
That was a firm no. So what's it going to take?
Well, you know, first of all, to say that it's immoral to protect this country, I mean, I don't know where. Obviously, where Nancy Pelosi is right now is with the open borders crowd, the people that don't want any borders, that don't want ICE agents. She's been for abolishing ICE. And so I think what's happening is right now the Democrats in the House are being held hostage by the extreme radicals on the left. This isn't mainstream, by the way. Most of this country, wherever they are in DACA, believes that we ought to secure the border. You know, let's deal with immigration. The president, by the way, was willing to put a lot of things on the table to negotiate with Democrats in exchange for wall funding. And they walked away and they said they don't want to do anything because the extreme left doesn't want to do anything because they want open borders. That's the dilemma where Nancy Pelosi is right now.
Well, the first big test of the new Congress and the president is going to happen tomorrow. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they're going to be meeting with President Trump at the White House. What do you think is going to come from that new dynamic?
Well, there's a lot of things that the president's been willing to negotiate on in exchange for getting the wall funding and in dealing with the DACA problem. We've had bills on the House floor to address the DACA problem, and every single Democrat's voted no on all of those measures. And oh, by the way, when Nancy Pelosi had a supermajority when Barack Obama was president, she never tried to deal with this problem. You know, they don't want to agree to any solution because they want open borders on the far left. The problem they're going to have is this country doesn't want to shut down over whether or not to secure the border. They want a secure border. The president wants to secure the border, and he got elected president on that platform. Are they going to say they want to shut the government down because they don't want to secure America's border?
If the president has threatened to do just that, shut down the government, if he doesn't get what he wants here, would you support the president if he was pushed into that corner? Well,
I support the president's position that we need to fund true border security, including the wall. You know, in the numbers, $5 billion. If there's a better way to get there than what the president's laid out, then they need to come with an alternative. They can't just come and say they want to shut the government down for no reason because they don't want border security. They'll lose that argument with the American people.
Finally, before we